The rhythmic thud of a small body hitting the floor at 3:17 in the morning. You know the sound. You have heard it 1,000 times and told yourself it was just the cat changing sleeping positions. But here is what nobody tells you about that sound. The thud is not random. It is not a sleepy tumble. It is the opening note of a hunting sequence that has been running in your cat's brain since before your species built walls. Right now, while your cat sleeps in a curl at the foot of your bed, her inner clock is counting down to a precise biological trigger. Between 3 and 5 in the morning, her brain releases a surge of cortisol and melatonin that shifts her entire sensory system into a different operating mode. You call it waking up. Your cat calls it the start of her real day, and the life she lives during those 2 hours is one you have never fully seen. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you watched your cat in complete darkness without her knowing you were watching? If you are like most owners, the answer is never. And that is exactly how she wants it. Because the cat you see during daylight hours is not your cat. She is a diplomatic version of your cat, a softened translation of a nocturnal predator, who has agreed to live on your schedule but has never stopped running her own. Here is the truth you do not want to hear. The purring creature that needs your chest at 10 in the morning and the silent stalker that patrols your hallway at 3:30 in the morning are the same animal. But you only know one of them. The other one exists in a world you cannot access because you are asleep, and she prefers it that way. Studies from the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery show that 64% of owners report being woken by their cat between 3 and 4:30 in the morning. But here is the detail the study catches that most owners miss. The cats were not trying to wake their owners. The owners woke because their own sleep architecture detected movement. The cats were simply moving through their natural activity peak. The waking was a side effect of a larger process you were never meant to witness. Think about that for a moment. Your cat has a full life that begins exactly when your consciousness ends, and she has designed that life around the assumption that you will not be part of it. The International Cat Association recorded in their 2022 health survey that 68% of registered purebred cats are reported by owners to be most active between 2 and 5 in the morning. That is not a statistical quirk. That is the ancestral clock of Felis sylvestris libica still ticking inside your living room. The African wildcat that first walked into human grain storage 9,500 years ago in Catalhoyuk was active at the exact same hours. Hunting rodents that emerged at dusk and dawn. The contract was forged in darkness. And your cat has never broken it. But here is the part that changes everything. What is she actually doing during those hours? You assumed she was sleeping or wandering or causing minor chaos. You were wrong about all of it. Ellis and Wells published a study in Applied Animal Behavior Science that tracked 45 indoor cats using accelerometers and infrared cameras. They found that 78% of the cats displayed a distinct activity peak between 2 and 4 in the morning. But the shape of that activity was not random wandering. It followed a precise sequence. First, a period of stillness that lasted anywhere from 12 to 30 minutes. Then a sudden transition to high-intensity movement that correlated with the detection of tiny sounds in the walls. Rodent scratching, insect movement, air pressure changes from an open window. The cats were not awake and active. They were hunting in a state of focused arousal that researchers described as a form of predatory trance. You have seen this state before. It is the same look your cat gets when she locks onto a bird through the window. Jaw slightly open, eyes fixed, tail twitching at the tip. But at night, without visual targets, that same neurological state activates in response to sound and vibration alone. Your cat is hunting a world you cannot perceive. If that description of the predatory trance stirred something in you, a memory of catching your own cat in that frozen stare, then you already know how close you came to seeing her true nature. Subscribe to keep uncovering the layers of the creature you share your home with, because there is more hiding in those dark hours than most owners ever suspect. In the comments, drop the single word trance if you have ever witnessed that look in your cat's eyes during the night. McCoon and Turner used accelerometer-based monitoring on 30 cats and found that they spent 12% of a 24-hour cycle in high-intensity bouts, concentrated between 3 and 5 in the morning. These bouts correlated with increased indoor rodent sightings. But the study also caught something unexpected. The cats were not only hunting food, they were performing territorial patrols that followed a route they had memorized down to the centimeter. Your cat has a map of your home that you do not have, and she runs that map every single night. Let me show you what that map contains. Your cat knows where every piece of furniture sits in relation to every other piece. She knows where the heat comes from. She knows which floorboards creak and which ones stay silent. She knows where the mice have been in the last 72 hours and where the dust collects under the refrigerator. She has mapped the airflow from every window and the vibration signature of your footsteps on the stairs. And every night between 3 and 5, she updates that map. You thought she was sleeping. She was working. Now here is the uncomfortable part. Your cat is also watching you during these hours. Baker and Huber studied the influence of artificial light at night on domestic cat activity using 58 cats in controlled home environments. The cats exposed to dim LED nightlights increased their nocturnal activity by 22%. But the researchers also documented something they did not expect. The cats spent a measurable portion of their activity staring at their sleeping owners, not walking on them, not waking them, just watching, for periods ranging from 4 to 11 minutes at a time. Why? Because your breathing pattern changes during different sleep stages. Your cat is monitoring your respiratory rate to assess whether you are in deep sleep or light sleep. She is reading your body for signs of distress, illness, or wakefulness. She is not ignoring you at night. She is supervising you. The Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery published a study by Rogers and colleagues that used polysomnography on cats during nocturnal hours. They found that cats in the 3 to 4:30 window spent 45% of their time in REM sleep themselves. But here is the part that will change how you see your cat forever. The REM sleep was not continuous. It was punctuated by brief awakenings every 6 to 8 minutes. During those awakenings, the cats would lift their heads, orient toward their owner, check for movement, then return to sleep. Your cat is waking up every few minutes to verify that you are still breathing. You are not just her owner. You are her territory, and she patrols you the way she patrols every other part of her domain. Think about that image. Your cat, in the dark, lifting her head every few minutes to check your breath. That is not random behavior. That is guardianship coded into her biology. Subscribe to stay with this investigation into what your cat really does when the lights go out, because we are only halfway through the evidence. In the comments, write Guardian if you now see your cat's nighttime surveillance as something deeper than curiosity. But there is a darker layer beneath this. Research by Kelly and McGowan on social bonding and nighttime vocalizations in multicat households studied 37 cats and found that 31% emitted chatters between 2 and 4 in the morning. The chatters were positively associated with the presence of other cats. But listen to what the study actually reveals. The vocalizations were not random noise. They were a communication system, a nighttime language that cats use to coordinate territory sharing and signal safety to one another. Your cat may be talking to other cats in your building through walls and windows. She may be part of a network you cannot hear. Now look closer at that moment when your cat stands at the window at 3 in the morning. She is not bored. She is reading the night. She is sampling olfactory information from the outside air. She is listening for the territorial calls of other cats. She is checking the position of the moon. Cats have been shown to adjust their nocturnal activity based on lunar phase. More activity during darker phases, less during bright ones. Your cat has a calendar that runs on celestial cycles, and you have never seen it. Let me ask you something again. When your cat wakes you at 4 in the morning by walking across your chest, what do? You push her away. You mutter. You roll over. And she learns something from that response. She learns that you are not available during her active hours. She learns that her world and your world do not overlap. And she adapts accordingly. She becomes more independent, more self-sufficient, more nocturnal, because you have taught her that the night belongs to her alone. Here is what the USDA study from 1975 quantified. Feral cats kill an estimated 1.3 to 4 billion birds annually in the United States, with peak predation occurring between 2 and 4 in the morning. Your indoor cat still has that same hardware, the same night vision, the same silent footsteps, the same jaw designed for the killing bite. The only difference is that your walls contain her. But they do not contain her instincts. They do not contain her nighttime patrols. They do not contain the hunting trance she enters when she hears a mouse scratching inside the wall. You have been living with a wild animal that agreed to live indoors, but never agreed to stop being nocturnal. And the life she lives between 3 and 5 in the morning is the life she was born for. Now I am going to tell you something that will unsettle you. Your cat knows you are asleep. She knows that during those 2 hours she is free to be her full self without your observing presence. And research suggests that her stress levels actually decreased during these hours, because she does not have to perform domestication for you. She does not have to purr on command or tolerate handling or pretend that the sound of your approach is not something she processes as a potential threat assessment. Your cat loves you. She does. But the love she feels at 10 in the morning when she rubs against your hand is a different kind of love than the one she experiences at 3:30 in the morning when she watches you breathe. The first love is attachment. The second love is guardianship. She is guarding you while you are vulnerable. And she never stops. Morris Animal Foundation longitudinal aging studies have documented that cats with stronger owner bonds show more intense concealment behaviors when they are ill. But the same studies show something about nocturnal behavior. Cats who are closely bonded to their owners spend more time in proximity during the night, not sleeping on the bed necessarily, but positioned within visual range. Your cat positions herself at night based on a calculus of safety. She chooses a spot where she can see you and the exits simultaneously. She is balancing her need for security with her need to protect you. You thought she chose the foot of the bed because it was warm. She chose it because it is the optimal guard position. Here is the evidence that ties it all together. Bradshaw and Ellis behavioral ecology research on feline social structure shows that cats do not have a single personality. They have a repertoire of behavioral states that they deploy based on context. The cat you see during the day is one state. The cat that exists between 3 and 5 in the morning is another state. Both are real, but you only have access to one. The waking cat is the diplomatic cat. The nocturnal cat is the original cat. And the problem is not that your cat is hiding this from you. The problem is that you have never asked to see it. You have accepted the daytime version as the complete picture. You have never sat in darkness and watched her move through her territory with the silence of a creature that has been evolving for 40 million years. But here is what you can do. You can start paying attention to the clues she leaves. The worn spot on the sofa where she sits at 3 in the morning watching the window. The path of paw prints on the kitchen counter that you find in the morning. The toy that has been moved from one room to another overnight. These are not random. They are the evidence of her nightlife. They are the map of where she went and what she did while you were unconscious. Your cat is not hiding her nocturnal life from you. She is living it in plain sight. You just never recognize the signs, so the next time you hear that thud at 3:17 in the morning, do not roll over. Do not push her away. Pay attention, because what you are hearing is the sound of a creature who has been guarding you for your entire sleep cycle. A creature who has checked your breathing 6 times in the last hour. A creature who has run her patrol route, updated her mental map, and positioned herself to protect you from threats you will never perceive. Your cat lives in a world that begins when yours ends. And the question you should be asking is not what she does while you sleep. The question is whether you are ready to meet the version of her that only comes out at night. That question, are you ready, is the one that separates owners who live with a cat from guardians who truly see one. Subscribe now so you do not miss the practical guide coming next. How to safely observe your cat's nocturnal habits without disrupting her rhythm. In the comments, type "ready" if you are willing to meet the cat that only comes out at night. You are not imagining the shift in her energy when the sun goes down. Her pupils dilate, her whiskers push forward, her body lowers closer to the ground. Every muscle recalibrates for a different kind of movement. The cat who was too sleepy to lift her head for dinner is now a different creature entirely, and she expects you not to notice, because noticing means you are awake, and your wakefulness disrupts her world order. Here is the hardest truth in this entire script. Your cat does not need you to understand her nocturnal life. She has adapted to your absence. She has built a complete existence around the hours you give her. But understanding changes something. Not for her. For you. Because once you know that the thud at 317 is not a sleepy tumble, but a predator entering trance, you stop seeing your home as your space. You start seeing it as shared territory that belongs to both of you during different cycles. Let me show you what this means in practical terms. The next time you find your cat sitting in the dark hallway at 2 in the morning, do not turn the light on. Do not call her name. Do not interrupt her. Because she is not lost. She is not confused. She is reading information that your senses cannot process. She is interpreting vibration patterns in the floorboards. She is tracking air currents that carry scent from the rooms she has already checked. She is completing a task that her brain has been programmed to perform since before your species existed. You cannot see the world she sees, but you can respect it. The cats in the Ellis and Wells study showed something else that the researchers barely mentioned in the discussion. The cats that had owners who slept through the night without interruption displayed more complex nocturnal behavior patterns. They covered more territory. They performed more complete patrol sequences. They spent less time returning to check on their owners and more time engaging with their environment. The cats were most themselves when they knew they were not being watched. You have been given a gift you never recognized. Your cat trusts you enough to leave you unattended. She trusts that you will survive the 2 hours she spends being fully wild. She trusts that when morning comes and she returns to the diplomatic version of herself, you will still be there. Her entire nocturnal life is built on the assumption that you are safe enough to leave. Now I want you to understand something about the bond between you. The love your cat shows you during the day is real. It is not performance, but it is filtered through domestication. It is love expressed in a language she learned to speak for you. The love she feels at 3 in the morning when she watches you breathe is unfiltered. It is the raw ancestral attention of a small predator watching over her territory's most vulnerable asset. You are not just her owner in that moment. You are her responsibility, and she has never dropped that responsibility. Not once. Not for a single night since she entered your home. Veterinary behaviorist Dr. Ilana Reisner documented that cats who have strong bonds with their owners show measurable differences in nocturnal behavior compared to cats in less bonded relationships. The bonded cats spent more time in proximity. They woke more frequently to check on their owners. They positioned themselves between their owners and the nearest exit. The study described it as a form of sentinel behavior. Your cat stands guard while you sleep. Every night, without being asked, without expecting thanks, you owe her something in return. Not attention during her nocturnal hours, not disruption of her natural rhythm, but recognition. The silent acknowledgement that you see the traces she leaves behind. That you understand the worn spot on the sofa and the moved toy and the paw print on the counter are not accidents. They are her signature. They are the proof that while you slept, she was watching. There is a reason your cat chooses to wake you at exactly the moment she does. She has timed it. She has calculated when your sleep is lightest and when your response will be least aggressive. She has learned your sleep architecture better than you have, and she uses that knowledge to decide when to interrupt your world and when to let you rest. Your cat is the quietest scheduler you will ever know. So the thud at 317 is not noise. It is communication. It is the opening movement of a symphony you were never meant to hear, but have always been part of. Your cat is not hiding from you. She is living a full life in the spaces you leave empty. And every morning when she curls up beside you and purrs, she is not just saying good morning. She is saying, I completed my watch. You are safe. I am coming back now to the version of me that fits inside your world. You have been sharing your home with a guardian who works the night shift while you rest, and the only thing she asks in return is that you keep trusting her with the darkness.